So, let's talk today about, about bitachon. We'll see which pasuk it fits into afterwards. But let's talk about getting your goals and aspirations achieved. Which means, when I have bitachon means that I'm confident that Hashem is going to carry out what I need done. And then there's always the question of, who says that what I need done is what Hashem needs done? So, who says that I have any right to have bitachon, to be confident that what I want done is ever going to be done? Unlike emunah is, I, for lack of any better word, believe, ani ma'amin be'emunah shleima, that Hashem exists. Ani ma'amin be'emunah shleima be'vias HaMashiach. Ani ma'amin is easy, right? Of course Hashem is there. Of course emunah is real. So the question is, do I connect to that or not? But let's say that I want something. Every one of us wants stuff. Can you think of something you really, really want? Can you think of something you really don't care for? If I offered you right now the most prestigious position in the United States of America, to be the President of the United States, is there anyone here who would take the position? It's okay if it's yes or no. You would take it? Right? Anyone else would take it? No? You would? How much would you be willing to fight to get that position if you had to? Would you? Would you be willing to run for president? Right. Would you? No. If you offered Donald Trump now to be the president, do you think he wants it? Who wants it more, you or him? Him. Right. Wanting something is the way he wants to be president. That's how you got to want it. If you don't want it, you're not getting it. Now the question is, just because you want it, who says that Hashem wants it? So what if I want something? So I want, so what's going to make it that I'm going to get what I want? How on earth do you have bitachon? Of course, we know, tracht gut, wird sein gut. But you know that in the heat of the moment, you always question, tracht gut, wird sein gut. Think that it's going to be good. Who says that what I'm thinking is good? Is good. I want to be the president. Is that good? It could be the worst, it probably will be the worst disaster in the world if I become the president. So who says that if I want to do that, that's a good thing? So I have to be sure that what I want is good. Now I've got more problems in my life. So let's keep it simple. Forget the presidency. Let's say I want to get married. Now who says I'm going to get married? Facts on the ground are, a lot of people don't get married. Right? What's going to make it that I want to get married, therefore I'll get married? I want something to happen to me, therefore I'm going to get it. How do you know you're getting something? So bitachon is a very difficult concept to accept. Right? I want $1 million this year. But you'll notice, if you take a good look at yourself, can you see how there's certain things you really want and need and other things you don't? You want $1 million this year? Would be nice. Again, the way Donald Trump wants to be president. Right. Anyone? You want $1 million the way he wants to be president this year? Of course it would be nice. I won the lottery. It would be very nice. Why not? Who wouldn't take $1 million if you were offered it? But that's not wanting and bitachon. Bitachon means things that you mamish want with all your heart and soul. Now, do you have such things that you want with heart and soul like that? Absolutely everyone does. Of course you do. There's things that you absolutely and utterly and totally, like, you're chalishing for them. Right? This is what I need, this is what I want. Some of them are like, what?
Wants things are different. You need sustenance. You want coffee. You don't need.
Correct. But let's talk about big things. Let's talk about, I want health, right? I want to make a certain amount of money. You definitely want a certain amount of money. Maybe not $1 million, but everybody here, regardless, needs X amount of money to live. Hopefully it's not too much, but you want and need that. And then there's the things that you want to be, which you just want that should happen. You want someone in the family to accept you. You want that something should go right, that some person should stop hurting some other person that you're connected to. There's so many things you want and need, right? And they are where you lie. Now, the chachma of bitachon lies in connecting that which you want with the Eibishter, with Hashem. So the fact that I want it, and then what? And then Hashem is going to make it happen. So I know it's nowhere near Purim, but I'm going to tell you the Purim story anyway. Yeah.
How does that answer our, like, you could still walk, let's say, I really want to rob the bank with all my heart and soul.
Right. Okay, great. I really want to rob a bank with all my heart and soul. Right?
That's not what Hashem wants me to do.
Clearly not what Hashem wants you to do. But if I'm going to ask you, when you say I want to rob a bank, let's just say, right, I want to rob a bank. Do you really want to rob the bank? Why do you want to rob the bank? Most people don't have any taiva in robbing banks. But when you rob a bank, something happens.
You get money.
You get money.
And attention.
So I want the money and the attention. Yes, great. Yes, exactly. I want the money. If I rob a bank, I'm going to make $100,000 that day. I want to make the $100,000, and I also want to get famous in some, crazy lunatic way. But I want to get famous, and I want to feel. What do I want to feel?
Accomplished.
What I want from the $100,000 I'm going to get today from robbing the bank, and from the fame I'm going to get, is a feeling. And tracht gut means to feel that good feeling. What if Hashem can give me that feeling in another way? Without robbing the bank. Would you be okay with that? No? You want to dafka rob the bank. What you want to do is say, okay, I'm dying to rob the bank. But it doesn't say tracht, it says tracht gut. Yep.
Maybe you want it to go the way that you plan. That's all. Which means to say that even if you can get the same result in another way, when it's come to an unexpected, like if you plan something,
Right.
you took all of the steps and in this example, it's not the steps, but it could be good steps. And even if you can get the same things in another way, the fact that you tried for something and that didn't work out, even if you got the result in another way, that could still not be.
So you're saying, if I understand correctly, what you're saying is, it's not only the feeling that I want to get at the end, it's also the accomplishment of having robbed the bank. Is that what you're saying?
So it was my idea. I
Right.
thought of it. I
Good.
tried.
All that, my idea, I tried, I went, I actually robbed the bank, I held the gun, I got the thrill, right? The whole thing from beginning to end is feelings. Not such good feelings, but they're all feelings, right? If you strip away the steps how to get there, and you merely cut to the chase, and you see what is the feeling you want at the end, you'll see what we always want is a feeling. I want to get that thrill, that feeling, that excitement of what it's like to rob a bank.
So it doesn't matter what I do, it just matters how.
But what if I can get it in another way? That's the art of tracht gut. It's not about what you want, it's what is going to come from what you want, the feeling, yes. Just volume.
Let's say someone wants a child, you can't say, let's get that feeling in a different way. Obviously, when they want a child, that gives them a certain feeling.
You say, what if someone wants a child, right? Can they get that feeling in a different way? And you're saying there's no other way to get a feeling other than a child. It's how else can you get the feeling? What? Right. So you know that there's a story which is fascinating that is brought in a mimer. It's in the mimer of the Tzemach Tzedek, Tiglachas Mitzrayim, and there the Tzemach Tzedek talks about the feeling of having a child. And he says that a rich man once came to the Baal Shem Tov and he says, Rabbi, I want to have a baby. They didn't have a child for a long time. The Baal Shem Tov told them, if you want to have a baby, you have to be willing to give up all your money. He was a very wealthy man. The only way for you to have that is to give it up. Why? Because the feeling, the chesed units, if you will, that you are using up for your money are so great, and you only have X amount for you in Shemayim, so you're not able to contain both having a baby and having all that money. If you're willing to give up on that, you'll get that. Right? And that's fascinating because the money clearly doesn't give you what kids give you. You can't compare the nachas of a child to having money. But you are taking away X amount of goodness units, and you need to forego those in order to have the child. So it is exactly that. When I want a kid, I want what? You're asking Hashem, you're having bitachon, and you should get the feeling of what it means to have a child, the experience of what it means to have a child. And yes, if Hashem can find another way to get that child, go for it. But in most cases, you're not going to find that. I mean, it could be sometimes it will. Let's say someone's already old and no chance of having a child, no chance of having a baby, and now they want a kid, right? There are other ways to get that feeling of nachas and satisfaction from things you've done. It's not like if a person lives childless, they now have zero hope, right? There's still a chance of having something there. There's no pshat that I mean, yes, someone who doesn't have children is choshev kameis, and it's very painful. But at the same time, you can't say that there's no other ways to get happiness in life. There are.
Right, but you don't want it, not really.
Correct. But so you daven for that. So you have bitachon that you're going to get that experience. And yes, if there's no other way to get, then that's what you need. So I have absolute bitachon that Hashem is going to give me the feeling of having a child. And if He can find a way to substitute that, go ahead. But you can't. Correct. Nothing else can do that. So therefore, that's what I need. So now Hashem's going to have to give you that, right? Yeah.
What was the end of the story?
The Tzemach Tzedek story?
Yeah.
He doesn't bring the whole end. The end of the story was he lost his money and he had the child. So maybe he got the money back. I don't know, but that part of the story. Yes.
But what if someone wants like a healthy child and Hashem has another plan for them?
Again, an experience, a feeling of having a healthy child. There's nothing like, right? There's a tremendous experience and a feeling in having a healthy child. Sure.
Right,
That's a bitachon. What I'm talking about is a different question. Just let's focus on the question. The question is, how do you know that Hashem wants you to have that? Maybe Hashem wants that person to have an unhealthy child.
Exactly.
God forbid. Right.
That's my question.
Me too. Okay. So now we're on the same page. Yes?
Oh, I don't know. I just want to say that, like, you're saying that it's enough to like get the feeling of like what you want, but it's not enough. I also want it to come in like a pleasant way.
I'm talking about bitachon. Bitachon means to take we spoke about it at the beginning, right? The feeling that you want to get, project that feeling that you're going to have and bring it to you now. Whatever feeling you want to have when you have that healthy baby and you get that amazing, spouse you found, that greatest chassan you ever dreamed of, and what's that incredible feeling you want, feel that feeling now. That's what bitachon means. Tracht gut. Feel it now.
You don't know how to feel something you never felt.
What?
You can't feel something you never felt.
You want something, so you know what you want to feel when you have it. So you sit down and you actually do isbonenus. This is how we live our lives as chassidim, certainly. We want to do isbonenus. We meditate and we reflect and we contemplate. Hold on, let me move a little further and then we'll take questions in a moment. What?
What if you want something not for yourself but for someone else?
Also good.
The feeling of me feeling good.
Yes.
Change
Why?
the thing that, like,
If I want that,
something
I will feel amazing if you get that certain thing. It's the same thing. I want this for you. Why do I want that for you?
It's not like something that is
I'm putting my.
and I-
Let me explain to you the problem. Okay, let's back up. You know what the problem is in life? I want something. I have a dream. You ever had a dream and you want to get something? And you also, very often, think about the steps of how you want to get what you want to get. And then you know what happens? It doesn't work. Certainly not the way you wanted it to. I want to do this, and it doesn't work. So you're going out on a date, and you see someone else just has it so easy and so simple, and me, it's impossible. I can't do this. And why is it so difficult for me? And you know what happens in those tough, difficult spaces of pain in life? They happen to us all, by the way. You can't avoid them. What happens to us in those moments? We lose it. And all negative feelings and experiences happen in those moments. And now I can tell you which pasuk we're doing. We're doing pasuk number 3.
But then how do you
Yitzias Mitzrayim, which is this week's parasha also. Hold on. You just wanted a title. So,
part of the assignment is how are we continuing something we were supposed to already
how are we continuing something? The Torah is unlimited. So, what should I do? Use it for the next assignment.
4 for second, if we did 3 for second.
No, we did all 4, but there's so much more to talk about. So, one second, let me explain. We all have, in the space between the dream that I want and where I am, that's where negative feelings happen. You'll notice that some people get upset in things that other people don't get upset. You build a story and a narrative of what you want things to be. And then, based on that, you decide, am I a success or am I a failure? I made it or I didn't make it. So you decide that you need to get married by age 21. Okay, max 22. Now that becomes your story. So now if you're 23, no good. But if the story was, for whatever reason, that you get married by 25, then you're okay. Then you're not under pressure, right? Let's say you live in a community where everyone gets married at 18, and if you're 19, you're already under pressure. But if your community gets married at 21, then 19 is actually quite young. So the decision on whether it's good or bad is all determined based on subjective, outside, well, some of them are objective, but outside forces. Now what happens is, you decided you need X amount of money. So I need that, now I don't have that, so what do I feel? I feel down, sad, frustrated, anxious, jealous. How many negative feelings can come about, can grow, can germinate in that space? What's the space? Between where I want to be, where I hope to be, and where I am. Right? And that's the space that we call mitzrayim. Why do we call it mitzrayim? Because it's a constraint, a limitation. Most often, it's a limitation you placed upon yourself. It's true, very often it could be a real limitation. But it's only a limitation because you decided that. So if you ask, and if you're in Auschwitz, Rahman al-Islam, for those Jews who were there, that was like, what kind of limitation? They were in that limitation. But when you read Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, which is a must-read, by the way, what do you see? That he was in Auschwitz, and then he's like, okay, how do I get out of this prison? Can't walk out. I'm stuck. I am absolutely dehumanized and I'm stuck. But he's like, I'm a psychoanalyst. And on one hand, I'm getting depressed. Like, how on earth does a guy like me, a secular guy, who's like this prominent psychoanalyst in a university in Vienna, find himself as a Jew in a concentration camp about to be slaughtered and in this horrid situation? And then he says, I don't know, but if I decide that I'm a prisoner, then I am a prisoner. And if I decide that I'm not a prisoner, then I can rise above the prison. So how do I rise above the prison? He's like, well, let's make an experiment. What's the experiment? Me. What's it like to put a person in prison? And see how his brain reacts. And now he rises above himself. He's looking at himself from above down like a third person, and he's studying himself. And then he realizes that they can't imprison me. They can only imprison my body. They can't. Exactly. Except, whatever. He's saying it in a very psychological term. Then he created logotherapy. And he was thinking about his wife, and he's living for the love for his wife, even though she was already long dead. He didn't know that. But he lived for something else. And so they weren't able to imprison his inside, only his externality. And that's what he's saying. Can't take me into prison if I don't allow you to take me into prison. So I have to allow you, and then I get into prison. Otherwise, I'm not in prison.
How do you stay out of prison?
What?
How do you stay out of prison?
So that's what Yosef did also, as we learned. Yosef was in prison, he was in a dungeon, and in his mind, he wasn't in a dungeon. You know what he was doing? He was like, I don't know, I want to be the king of Mitzrayim. What's it going to feel like one day when I become the king of Mitzrayim? And then he felt the king the whole time. How do I know he was feeling that? Because wherever he was the king. That's what he was doing. I'm in a dungeon. Okay, king of the dungeon. I'm a slave. Okay, I'll be the king of the slave house. I'm always a king. You see that?
Where's, like, being in touch with reality?
Where's what?
Being in touch with reality.
Great question. What about being in touch with reality? Reality is not to be depressed. You have the power, you have the choice to decide how to react to whatever is going on. So something is happening objectively. Now, how do I feel about it? How do I feel about this is all about a subjective emotion. And that's what trachtgut is. Some people determine from outside forces how they should feel. Right? They allow an inside force to take over them. And some people allow their da'as to stem from how Hashem feels about this. And that's the point over here. There are two realities in every situation. One is called mitzrayim. I'm in Mitzrayim. What do you mean? You don't see that I'm in Mitzrayim? You don't see the reality that I'm stuck? You don't see that I'm in prison? Who says you're in prison? You said, because you decided that you're supposed to be over there, and you're not over there, and therefore you're in prison. Was Yosef in prison?
Physically.
You know what we call it, by the way? We call it shlichus.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm always on shlichus. I'm always on a mission.
But that would be the opposite, the second one.
What are we learning in the 12 Sukkim? A neshama in this world is taken into a space called Mitzrayim. That's wherever you are now. And the mission is to reveal God in that space that you are now.
You say there's two realities. So the first would be that I'm in Mitzrayim, and the second is that I'm in Mitzrayim, but I'm actually a shliach.
Right.
So there's
I'm a shliach to Mitzrayim. I'm the shliach of Cairo, Egypt. Mitzrayim.
such a second reality.
That's my deeper reality. Right. So here's how we work it, okay? Let's just discuss a little tinge of the Purim story. One day we have to go into deeper thing with this, but just this mimer just fell into my head the other day. And it's an amazing concept. Achashverosh is Kodesh Baruch Hu, right? Hashem. Haman, who's Haman in our lives? The Yetzer Hara, the animalistic soul that we are. Who's Mordechai? The Nefesh Elikis, the godly soul, right? Now let's read the story. Achashverosh, Hashem, says, want to do something good for Mordechai. Of course he does. The godly soul. Hashem loves the godly soul. He loves your neshama. You wake up in the morning, you say, L'kai neshama shanasata bi. Hashem loves that. You are in touch with your soul. What does Hashem do? He asks Haman, what should the king do with someone he wishes to honor? What does Haman say? Obviously the king wants to honor me. So he's like, a horse, a royal horse, and then you parade him in the street with royal garments. That's what you do with him. What does Achashverosh say? Excellent idea. Now, take that and go to Mordechai and put Mordechai on the horse and parade him through the streets. And al tapel davar mikol asher dibarta. Don't miss anything. So, in Torah he asks the question. And he says, why does, at least in our Avodah, why does the king ask Haman what to do? Why doesn't he ask Mordechai what to do? After all, he read in the Chronicles that Mordechai saved his life. So he should have called up Mordechai and said, Mordechai, you're so amazing. What should I do for you? By the way, let's assume that he didn't know that Mordechai is the one he just sentenced to death. Otherwise, he could have figured out easily what to do. Don't kill him. So let's assume he didn't realize that Mordechai was part of the Jewish people, didn't have that, whatever. But it's a question, why not? But the facts are that he asks Haman what to do when he knows he intends to ask what Mordechai should receive as a reward. So why is he asking Haman? What do you think is the answer?
Someone knows
What?
some, like he knows how to like
So in Torah he answers, what do you think would have happened had he asked Mordechai, Mordechai, what should I do with you? I want to give you covet. I want to give you honor. You're so amazing and so awesome. What would Mordechai have said? I don't need it. Nothing. Exactly. That's why he doesn't ask Mordechai. If Hashem would ask the nefesh elikis, the godly soul inside of us, what should I do with you? You know what the godly soul would say? All I want. Ich will mehr nicht als dich allein. All I want is you. Just give me a connection to you. So the king doesn't get what he wants. So what does Hashem do? He calls in the nefesh habahamis, the animal soul, and he says, what do you want? That means each one of us is called upon to say, what do you want to be? What do you want to be when you grow up? A policeman? A fireman? What do you want to be? A princess. And every one of us will answer that question. Your nefesh habahamis will give you a great, solid answer. Isn't that true? Of course. I'll tell you exactly what I want to be. If you ask the nefesh elikis, the godly soul, what do you want to be? I just want to be connected. I want to be a chassid. All I want is you. But if you ask the nefesh habahamis, what do I want a good life. I want to have money. I want to have a nice house. And I want to live in a beautiful place. And I want to have a great family. And I want to have a great prestigious position. And I want to be respected in my community. And I want to have all the money I need to pay tuition and whatever, right? Not that difficult to find what you want to be when you want to be if you ask the nefesh habahamis. So Hashem always allows each one of us to project what you want to be. And here's the point. That's what's going to come about. You get it? Achashverosh says to Haman, what do I want to do? This is the key. How do I know that what I want is what Hashem wants? Because Achashverosh, Hashem, is asking your Haman, not your Mordechai. Every one of us is given a mission in life. The Baal Shem Tov translates the pasuk, Re'evim gam tzmeim nafshem bohem tisatov. If you're hungry or thirsty, pasuk in Tehillim, in Haidul Hashem Kitov, if you're hungry or thirsty, simple meaning is, your soul is actually enveloped in that. Your soul is hungry or thirsty. The Baal Shem Tov says, your soul is looking for sparks of holiness. Where do those sparks lie? Well, if I'm hungry for bread, I'm hungry for pizza, or for a great piece of steak, or I'm thirsty for some milkshake, then that's where your soul is going to now overcome and get its sparks. Your soul is looking for that.
I mean, sometimes you're not supposed to have the milkshake because,
Correct. And when you want it and you need it, and when your soul is enveloped in it, you know that's what you want. That's the key to bitachon. What you want and the great things you're going to get and appreciate in your life, every single one of us is different. P.S. Pasuk 4 now. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek le'olam haba. Every single Jew has a portion. You are unique. Nobody is going to marry the person you're going to marry, God willing. Nobody's going to live in the place you're going to live and have the kids you're going to have. And nobody's going to meet the people you're going to meet. And nobody's going to have the challenges you have. And nobody's going to have the successes you have. Ever. You are absolutely unique and you're going to be successful. And you're going to feel the greatest feelings in the world from that. You just need to tell Hashem what you want. He says to you, what do you want? Tell me, spell it out. And Haman and Mordechai are one being. They are going to ride the horse together. Your nefesh habahamis and your nefesh elikis. Yes?
How's that Margat and Chesed though?
How's...
I get the Chilek part, but what about the rest? Where's Haman fit into that?
So, because Achashverosh is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, calls Haman, and he says to him, Ma la'asos bo ish asher hamelech hafetz b'koreh. And that question means, in Avodas Hashem, it's a question of, what is your mission in life? Where are you going to fulfill your tafkid, your mission in life? And the answer is not in anything holy, it's in what you like, what your animal soul likes. If you like $1 million, $1 billion, then that's where your animal soul lies. That's where your thing lies. You'll see it. Look around at people. Some people, I watch my kids, right? One kid he's a millionaire already. He's a billionaire. He lives that way. The clothing that he buys, the shoes he wears, the hairstyle, everything is like a billionaire. And the other kid's like a deep chassid, like The one walks around and will never iron his shirt because it's not Hasidish. Then the other one will never walk out unless the shirt is pressed by a dry cleaner, and it's like little kids. The nefesh habahamis is different in each one. Where your animal soul lies, that's where your mission in life lies. And God says, it's great. Don't give it up. You're awesome. The only thing you need to do now is, and this is your avodah, is Haman. Hashem says to him, I get what you want. Okay, now Haman, that's you, that's your nefesh habahamis, right? Your animal soul. Okay, go to Mordechai, to the nefesh elikis, to the godly soul, and tell him that's what you want. And you have no right to be involved in anything more. And do exactly what you said, the garment and the horse, and parade Mordechai through the streets. You parade him. You do everything, but you're not allowed to have any say in the matter. Now that's the most difficult part in the world for Haman, because Haman's inside of us, right? So let's see what that means. Okay, so I'm going to get that shidduch that I'm wanting, and I'm going to get the money that I want. Are you with me so far? I'm getting what I want. But on the way, Haman is like, okay, so how do I get it? So he decides the steps of how I'm going to get it, and he works out how I'm going to get it. And he's like, this is not working. I didn't find what I wanted. Life always happens that way. You know why? Hashem says, I'm going to decide how it's going to work. I didn't ask you how it's going to work. I asked you what you wanted. That's it. Get out of here. Your animal soul has only one right, and that is to determine what it wants, not to determine how it gets there. And stop getting depressed you didn't get there. I'm deciding how you get there. So we have a godly soul and an animal soul. The animal soul is always, what am I getting out of this? I didn't get it today. The other person did. I'm jealous. I'm angry. I'm anxious. I'm upset. I'm depressed. Negative midos also belong to Haman. And the king says, give it over to Hashem. That's Mordechai. Remember when Mordechai, if he walks in, he would have said, Hashem, whatever you want. Haman's job is to tell me what he wants and then get out of the picture. Stay out of Hashem's way. It's a crazy way to live life. But let me spell it out for you. What do you want from Hashem? What do you want that you really, really want? Write it down on paper. That's your chelek l'olam haba, right? That's your portion in this world that leads you into the next world. That's your chesed ma'aseh. That's what you're supposed to be achieving. And then what do? Okay, Hashem, I know you got me. I feel so good. I know I've got it already. How do I know? Tracht gut, wird sein gut. I'm already feeling that I got it. And now comes the most difficult part in the world, because I don't have it. What do you mean? He says, yeah, now we want Mordechai to enter the picture. Haman out. Mordechai enters the picture. What does he do? Mordechai says, everything is in the hands of Hashem. Wow. Amazing. You know what that means in real life? What?
Practically, you still have to work for what you
Yes. Some people work for what they want, and they get anxious about the work. I need to fundraise $2 million, right? Let's say. I need to get, how am I going to get it? I don't know. But Haman says I need it, right? Why? Because, I don't know. I have an organization, I have a thing going, I need to fundraise $2 million, so it needs to be. Now, if I'm going to start thinking how am I going to get it, I'm going to be dead scared to walk into someone and say, I need the money. I need you to give me money. Why? Because what right do I have to ask him to give me $100,000? I need to make a living. You know how much you need to make a living? You need a ton of cash in order to exist. A ton of cash. And sometimes if you start thinking about how much money you need to live, you can go crazy. You can say, how am I ever going to get this? But, you know what's going to happen? When you need it, miracles will happen. So if you're a life insurance agent, and you're like, okay, I need to raise $300,000 because that's what I need to live. $300,000 means I got to sell, let's say, 50 policies this year. How am I going to sell my policies? Who's ever going to buy my policy? Let go. You decide what you want. You're living in a space of absolute happiness. Hashem already gave you what you want. That's the bitachon. Who says he's going to give it to you? It's not like emunah. What's the answer? Because Achashverosh asked Haman, what does he want? Haman said what he wants. What's the Haman? Every time, write down on a paper what you want. Here's how you make miracles. Watch this. Write down today. Try this out. Write down on a paper exactly what you want. It might take you some time to figure what you want. What the things that you want are. Some are going to be big goals. Some are going to be small goals. Some are going to be things you need to happen today. Some this year. Some the next couple years. Write down what you want. And after you write down what you want, Haman told Achashverosh what he wants. Now what do? Now you let go. And this is why we daven every single day. And this is what we say every day. Ani Hashem Elokeichem. This is Shema, right? Shema is getting out of Mitzrayim, because it's the end of Shema. Ani Hashem Elokeichem. Asher Yitzei Eschem Me'eretz Mitzrayim. Remember the translation? I am Hashem your God. Not who took you out of Mitzrayim. I am Hashem your God. That's your avodah. You work on yourself to say, I get it. Hashem, you are my God. Or as it says in the parsha, Hashem tells Moshe, go tell Bnei Yisrael, Ani Hashem. Emor Bnei Yisrael, Ani Hashem. V'yitzeisi eschem mitachas tzivlois Mitzrayim. Want to know how you get out of the burden of Mitzrayim? One thing only. I am Hashem. The day you internalize that Hashem is the one in control. The day you realize that it's not about you. God is the one in control. God runs the world. God controls everything that happens. Let go. Do you know how difficult it is to let go? That's the most challenging part. And here's what happens. Every single time you have a negative feeling, and I guarantee you, you'll have a lot of them. You know what you need to do to Haman? Hang him up on the tree and don't bow down to him. What does that mean, hang him up on the tree? That means every single time, what we did last week was offer a korban. How do you offer korbanos? You think, oh my gosh, today I'm anxious. I'm anxious. I'm so worried today. What should I do now? I'm anxious. Every single morning and evening we get up and we daven and we say, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. There's only one God. Hashem, you're in control. How do I know you're going to give me what you want? Because that's what I want. Because my Haman wants that. And I know that whatever my Haman wants is what you want. And then what do you say? Hashem has me. Try this out, and you know what you're going to see? Miracles. Because Ani Hashem Elokeichem, if I am Hashem your God, then what do we say? Asher, you'll feel the Asher, the absolute sense of excitement. That Hoitzeisi eschem me'eretz Mitzrayim. I am no longer in Mitzrayim. I am no longer stuck in my confines. So here's what happens. You know, someone asked the question, why does Hashem allow his children to hate themselves so much? What's the answer? In order that you should be able to bring korbanos. Because every time you have a negative feeling, it's nothing short of an opportunity to get it close to Hashem. That's all it is. So let's summarize, so we have clarity. What you do in life is, you tell Hashem what you want. You tell yourself what you want. Haman tells the Melech, here's what I need. I need this. And then you say, clear, write it down, put it aside. Eibishter, that's it. That's my Haman. Now my Haman is going to parade Mordechai on the street. And every time Haman says, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. I'm feeling uptight. He's like, I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you how we get in there. Mordechai's riding on the Haman. And that means every time you feel down about something, that's an opportunity to change and flip that midah. And that's why we daven every day. Got it? Pasuk 3. Ani Hashem Elokeichem. Every time you say, Hashem, you got me. Amazing. You know what you feel? You feel Hashem in your life. You feel the Eibishter is with me. Like, wow, I feel so good. Hashem is right there with me. And like, how's this going to happen? I don't know. And you have bitachon. And you feel, but I feel like you got me. And you know, when you do it once or twice and it works, you'll see. When it doesn't work, it's because you felt negative. When it works, it's because you felt Hashem in your life. And that's the third pasuk. How do you get out of your limitations? By realizing that what I want, that's what Hashem wants me to do. That's the Kol Yisrael. And that realizing that by feeling Hashem's presence, Ani Hashem Elekeichem, and I go to daven every day to feel that presence of God, miracles are going to happen. So, that would be a good assignment if you came back and told me the story of how it worked by you. It works. Hashem promises, tracht gut, bet sein gut.